Course Code, Infs 428. Session 1A. Title: History of Telecom Networks. What is telecommunication? A telecommunication is a term coming from the meaning communication at distance through signals of varied nature coming from a transmitter to a receiver. In ancient times, the most common way of producing a signal would be through light, fires, and sound, drums and horns. However, those kinds of communications were insecure and certainly left room to improvement, as they did not permit message encryption nor a fast transmission of information on a large scale. Therefore, we may say that the starting point of all modern telecommunications was the invention of the electric cell by Alessandro Volta, 1800. In 1809, Thomas S. Sommering proposed a telegraphic system composed of a battery, 35 wires, one for each letter and number, and a group of sensors made of gold, which were submerged in a water tank. When a signal was passing from one of those wires, electrical current would split water molecules, and small oxygen bubbles would be visible near that sensor, adding sound TX to codes TX. Samuel Morse proposed a way to assign each letter and number to a ternary code, point, line, and space. The system was further developed and improved in the following years by Hughes, Baudot, and Gray, 1879, who theorized other possible codes. Gray's code has still applications today in the ICT industry and in barcodes technology. Research of the time, therefore, took another direction and aimed at producing a machine that could transmit sounds, rather than just signals. The first big step in this direction was the invention of transducers, which could transform an acoustic signal into an electric one and vice versa, microphone and receiver, with acceptable information loss, in 1850. 7 years later, Antonio Musi and Graham Bell independently managed to build a prototype of an early telephone, sound at distance, machine. Since Musi was unable to patent his invention, cost was $250 at the time, Bell managed to register it first. From human operator on PSTN to automatic selector. The routing issues were first solved by means of human operators and circuit commutation. The PSTN, Public Switch Telephone Network, was born. However, this system didn't guarantee the privacy and secrecy of conversations, and efforts towards the development of an automatic circuit commutation were made. In 1899, Ullman Stroger invented an electromechanic device simply known as selector, which was directed by the electrical signals coming from the calling telephone device, achieved through selection based on geographical prefixes. Topic 2. History of telecommunication networks. Service lines and switchboards. In 1877, construction of the first regular telephone line from Boston to Somerville, Massachusetts was completed. By the end of 1880, there were 47,900 telephones in the United States. The following year, telephone service between Boston and Providence had been established. Service between New York and Chicago started in 1892, and between New York and Boston in 1894. Transcontinental service by overhead wire was not inaugurated until 1915. The first